You ever get that weird feeling? Like you've lived this exact moment before? Well, today we're going to break down that eerie, yet surprisingly common experience, déjà vu.
You know the feeling? You walk into a room for the very first time, or you're just chatting with a friend, and bam, this overwhelming sensation just hits you. This powerful, uncanny feeling of familiarity.
Well, that crazy little hiccup in your brain actually has a name, déjà vu. And yeah, it's French. It literally just means already seen. And honestly, it's the perfect way to describe that split second of total confusion.
Déjà vu is such a paradox, right? It's like one part of your brain is absolutely screaming, I've been here, I've done this before, while another, more logical part of your brain is going, no way, that's impossible. And it's that clash, that internal argument that makes it feel so strange.
So what is it? A memory from a past life? A little glimpse into the future? Well, scientists have a much cooler idea. They think of it less as something mystical and more like a fascinating and totally normal glitch in your brain's ridiculously complex operating system.
All right, so let's get into it. Just how common is this glitch, and who's most likely to experience this captivating little brain fart?
So, if this has happened to you, you are definitely not alone. This isn't some super rare thing. In fact, studies show that about 2/3 of us, that's somewhere between 60 and 70% of the entire population, say they've had it happen at least once.
And what's really interesting is who it happens to most. Turns out it hits young people more often, maybe because their brains are just more active, more wired. And get this, it also loves to show up when you're tired or stressed, which kind of makes sense, right? Your brain's a little fuzzy. Frequent travelers and people who remember their dreams a lot are also on that list.
Okay, so we know it's a pretty common brain blip, but the feeling is just so powerful and strange that it's completely captured our imagination and worked its way into our culture for more than 100 years.
I mean, it is everywhere. You've got musicians like Beyoncé and Olivia Rodrigo using it to talk about love that feels recycled. And then, of course, you have movies like The Matrix, which took the whole idea literally, making déjà vu a sign that the world around you, the simulation, has just been changed.
But the name itself has been around for a long time. We got to go all the way back to 1876. A French philosopher, Émile Boirac, was the first person to actually use the term déjà vu. He used it to describe that exact feeling we all know, when you run into something totally new, but it feels so deeply familiar, and you just can't figure out why.
Okay, but pop culture and philosophy aside, what is really going on inside our heads when this happens? Let's dive into the leading scientific theories that are trying to decode this glitch.
And this is where it gets tricky. Because think about it, déjà vu is almost impossible to study in a lab. It happens in a flash, and it's gone. Because of that, scientists have come up with, get this, more than 40 different theories to try and explain it.
But the 4 leading ones all kind of circle the same idea. First, you have dual processing. Imagine 2 brain signals that are supposed to arrive at the exact same time, but one gets delayed by a millisecond. Your brain reads that second signal as an old memory. Then there's the attentional theory. It's like your brain took a subconscious screenshot of a room while you were looking at your phone. When you look up, it feels familiar. Some think it's neurological, just a tiny, harmless electrical misfire, like a little brain zap in your memory circuits. And finally, the memory theory. Something in what you're seeing now is just genuinely similar to a memory you've forgotten you have. See, they all point to a quick biological mix-up.
So if it is a mix-up, where's the crime scene? Where in the brain is this actually happening? Well, science has a prime suspect. This is the temporal lobe, basically ground zero for your memory and your sense of what's familiar. And one of the biggest clues, maybe the smoking gun, comes from patients with temporal lobe epilepsy. They often report these incredibly intense, vivid déjà vu experiences right before a seizure starts.
And scientists, they've gone even deeper, right into a specific spot called the perirhinal cortex. In this wild experiment with rats, they found they could literally flip a switch between new and familiar. By zapping neurons with a high frequency, the brain goes, this is new. Zap them with a low frequency and it goes, oh, I've seen this. They basically created a kind of déjà vu just by messing with the brain's electrical rhythm. How crazy is that?
Okay, so our brain can trick itself into feeling familiarity. Fine. But that's not the weirdest part of déjà vu, is it? Not by a long shot. It's that other feeling that comes along for the ride.
Yeah, that feeling. That powerful, certain sensation that you know exactly what's going to happen next. You feel like you know what someone is about to say or what you'll see when you turn the corner. So, is this some kind of superpower? Can you see the future?
Well, the leading idea for this is called the Gestalt familiarity hypothesis. The idea is pretty simple, actually. You walk into a new place, say, a coffee shop, but its physical layout, the way the tables and chairs are arranged, is the exact same as a place from your past you've totally forgotten, like an old friend's apartment. Your brain recognizes the familiar layout, and that gives you that intense feeling of, I've been here, but you can't place the memory. That's déjà vu.
So researchers tested this using virtual reality. They made people navigate scenes that had these familiar but forgotten layouts. And the more familiar the layout felt, the more certain people were that they knew what was coming next. But here's the kicker. Their feeling of prediction went way up, but their actual ability to predict what was around the corner, nope, it was never better than 50-50. Pure chance.
So here it is, the bottom line. The feeling of prediction is totally real. You are absolutely feeling that. But the ability to actually predict anything, that's the illusion. Your brain is just misinterpreting that intense feeling of familiarity as a feeling of foresight.
So, the next time that strange, uncanny feeling washes over you, remember, it's not a glitch in the matrix. It's just a fascinating feature of your own incredible brain doing its thing. It just leaves you with one question. Are you really seeing the future? Or are you just listening to an echo from a memory you never even knew you had?